and Tucker, and welcome to Andrew Tucker World. What's going on, all my great people? What's going on, all my boxing fans? I see it as iron sharpens iron, huh? Iron sharpens iron. And from Joshua, working with training, working with Errol Spence Jr. He's actually learning from Errol Spence Jr. Working with fighters like Frank Martin, and we'll be working with fighters like Errol Spence Jr. is a good thing. That's what I believe. Because I know them like that's like a trainer that's gonna push them, but I know Errol Spence Jr. is a fighter that's gonna also it's gonna be very beneficial to Joshua. That's gonna help push him. Also working with fighters like Frank Martin and things of that nature. That's gonna be good. That's gonna be really good. Uh, that's gonna be really good for Anthony Joshua. You know what I'm saying? And I always love the fact that iron sharpens iron. You know what I'm saying? Those guys gonna really push him. You know what I mean? Especially Errol Spence Jr. You know what I mean? Coach Derrick James is the type of trainer that Joshua. Like I said, Joshua always had that killer instinct. He always had that dog in him. But he got two guys that's gonna make him much more into an animal. You know what I'm saying? Because Errol Spence Jr. style. And then, like I said, he also going to be in there working with the likes of a fighter like Frank Martin and things of that nature. So that's also a good look as well. You know what I mean? Working with a fighter of the likes of a Frank Martin and the Errol Spence Jr. My brother Thunder's Productions. He says, "Sup, Andrew? How you feeling, bro? Let me cut some light on. Okay, you don't mind if I cut the light on. Huh? Yeah, I'm just want early in the AM. It's early in the AM. It's like 6:21 AM where I'm at. I'm up here at my daughter's bus stop. You know what I mean? Talking a little boxing. I had to go live real quick. Once I saw the news, once I saw the article, I had to go live real quick. And my brother Thunder's Productions, he says, "Feeling good, bro." Yeah, man. How you doing, bro? How you feeling, man? How you doing? I'm feeling good, bro. I'm doing very well, man. Blessed and highly favored. Blessed to see another day, man. Blessed to see another day. You know what I'm saying? Blessed to see another day. I'm up here at my daughter's bus stop. But yeah, that's good. That's good for Anthony Joshua, man. When you have another great fighter, you know what I'm saying, great fighters, because he'll be working along with he'll be training along with Frank Martin. He'll have a lot of motivation. He'll be training along with Errol Spence, probably even sparring with Errol Spence Jr. You know what I'm saying? So that's those two fighters alone are good fighters to push him and to help him get ready for, the Jermaine Franklin. You know what I mean? Jermaine Franklin, people got to understand, Jermaine Franklin is no pushover. Some people thought he beat Dillian White. Honestly, some people thought he beat Dillian White. Jermaine Franklin, he's no pushover. I like his style. He's more of that boxer puncher. You know what I'm saying? He's somewhat of a slick fighter. You know what I mean? Like it was a good fight between him and Dillian, but you got to understand that Dillian is a dangerous boxer puncher, but Joshua is a little bit more technically sound. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense, a little bit more technically sound than Dillian. Dillian is a good fighter. He's solid, but Joshua more technically sound. And working with the likes of Derrick James is not just only going to perfect his craft even further, but it's going to also make him into the animal to to the monster that some people say he lost the killer instinct. Some people say, oh, I don't got it no more. He don't got it no more. He ain't in him no more. He ain't been looking the same. When you fighting top fighter after top fighter, bro, you fighting caliber opponents. I mean, it's gonna challenge you. It's gonna challenge you. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna really challenge you. You know what I mean? It's gonna challenge you. You know, fighting the pound for pound, one of the best fighters in the world, probably the number one pound for pound fighter in the world, Alexander Usyk, only makes you better. And you able, some people's eyes, he won 4 rounds, maybe like 5 rounds. You know, some people say 4. In my eyes, he won 5 rounds, right? In my eyes, he won 5 rounds. Some people say he won 4 rounds. So that only helped Joshua get better as a fighter. You know, when you fight against a caliber opponent like Alexander Usyk, another Olympian, they've been in different games. You know what I mean? They've been in different games, a long amateur record. You know, a lot of experience already before turning professional. When you're dealing with that type of style, of that caliber of an opponent, that's only gonna make you better, win or lose. Especially if you was to win 4 or 5 rounds, I probably could have even won the fight against a tough, very skilled, elite level fighter like Alexander Usyk. That only makes you better. Like, it's gonna be difficult for all the rest of the opponents that go up against Joshua because he's gotten so much better as a fighter. There's some fighters he don't even have to use great footwork against. There's certain fighters he don't even have to stick and move against. He can just walk them down, even though you want to be smart when you break a fighter down, when you outbox a fighter, when you be smart with your punch selection, be smart with your punch placement. Work off the jab to set up the counter, work off the jab to set up the combination. Go onto the body, go back upstairs to the head, mix up your attack very well. Like, Joshua's a well-calculated fighter. Like, he's not just no walk you down fighter or just run you over and just beat you up and just tear you apart with mean combinations and vicious power shots. Whether it's counters, 2-punch combination, 3-punch combination, whether it's a 4-punch combination, whether it's 1-punch power counter shot, 1-punch power cross, straight right lead, power jab, powerful left hook, right hook, powerful uppercut, right uppercut, left hook to the body, whatever, no matter, right uppercut, no, if he's throwing power shots or he's just throwing, pretty much shots with not a whole lot of force on it. So whether it's just whatever shot it is, an overhand, right overhand, left, whatever a shot, you know what I mean, he throws. You know what I'm saying? Joshua is a well-calculated fighter. He's a boxer puncher, so he's not just no puncher that loads up on big shots. That swing wild and go crazy. He sets up his shots. He sets up the counters. He sets up the combinations. You know what I'm saying? So he has to be smart against a fighter like Jermaine Franklin. He has to be smart against another boxer puncher and a really very good counter puncher in Jermaine Franklin, I believe. You know what I'm saying? He has to be smart. But I really believe working with the likes of Errol Spence Jr., be training with Errol Spence Jr., be working with Errol Spence Jr., probably be even sparring with Errol Spence Jr., and then he got Frank Martin and all those fighters in there to motivate him, to encourage him, to even take his confidence real high. You know what I'm saying? Take his confidence real high to prepare him for the fight. Because I feel like Joshua knows that he has to make a statement, and he knows he has to let people know that I'm still an elite level fighter. I'm still one of the best fighters in the world. You know what I mean? I'm still one of the best fighters in the world. He got to make a statement and let people know that he's the reason why he's an Olympian and a 2-time world champion, 2-time unified heavyweight champion. He got to remind people. Joshua got to get in this fight and remind people why he was 2-time unified heavyweight champion, why he was an Olympian, why he was 2-time champion. He got to remind people. This is a fight that he has to make a statement against a very solid opponent. And I know Joshua ain't looking past Jermaine Franklin. I mean, the fans may look past Jermaine Franklin, might be looking past Jermaine Franklin. So some people in question, did Joshua still have it? Is he still the same fighter? It's in question. But you should know that he's a better fighter. If you a student of the game, or you a really hardcore boxing fan, or really know boxing like you say you know boxing, and you do film study, you know what these fighters can do in the ring, their strengths and their weaknesses, what they're good, great at, and what they need to work on, then you know that Joshua has gotten better. You know what I'm saying? Because to be able to compete with an Alexander Usyk and win 5 rounds, not just the first fight, but in the second fight, you have to be on a certain level to compete and win rounds against an Alexander Usyk. You have to be on a certain level and compete against the likes of a fighter. Excuse me. You have to be on a certain level to be able to compete and win rounds, or even beat a fighter like Dillian White. You know what I'm saying? You have to be on a certain level. Even at his age, he was still dangerous. You have to be on a certain level to be able to compete with a dangerous, hard-hitting boxer, puncher, technical brawler like Alexander Usyk. I'm sorry, like Alexander Povetkin. Like Alexander Povetkin. You have to be on a certain level to compete against these guys. Even Vladimir Klitschko at his age, you have to be on a certain level. You have to have some type of skill or be on a certain level to compete against a Vladimir Klitschko and beat him. That's a tough fight. That's a dangerous fight. My brother, Thunder Productions, much love and respect. He says AJ and Derrick James might work out better than expected. Yeah, I think Derrick James is a good trainer. I think he's a trainer that really pushes his fighters. He pushed them hard. Like, you know, he really stayed and making sure these fighters, he stay on their case, because sometimes fighters, you know, they live a lifestyle. They like to have fun and stuff, especially when they're young and they making decent amount of money. They like to have fun. They like to party. Sometimes a certain lifestyle, you know what I mean? They like to live, but they have to stay focused. They got to be 100% motivated and dedicated to their craft. They got to be 100% focused on the sport of boxing, and training and working out and stuff like that, and preparing for a fight. They have to be very serious, especially going up against a caliber opponent, especially going up against another elite level fighter. You know what I'm saying? They got to be on top of their game, because they can lose. They can very well lose against that other guy that they're going up against, which could be considered another elite level fighter or another professional elite level, top level fighter. See you later, sweetheart. Have fun on your field trip, okay? Have fun on your field trip, okay? Have fun on your field trip. See you later, sweetie. All right. Popcorn boxing in the building. Popcorn boxing. What's going on, my brother? How you feeling, my great brother? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think that working along with Spence and Frank Martin, I'm not sure. You know, I'm not sure about Jermell Charlo or the Charlo brothers. I'm not sure will they be in the count with Joshua, but I know Frank Martin. I know Errol Spence Jr. You know, just those two fighters right there, working along with Joshua and training with Joshua. That's like motivation to him, because, you know, just those two fighters right there are hard-working fighters. You know, outside the gym, that's different. You know, what they do in their personal life, that's different. But when they're inside the boxing gym, or when they're preparing for a fight, they're gonna take things to a whole nother level. I know Errol Spence Jr. is one of those fighters that got the work ethic. He's gonna go crazy in the gym. Frank Martin is another one of those fighters that's gonna go crazy in the gym. Joshua also go crazy in the gym too, but I know he's gonna push even harder when you got those two fighters that's going to be most definitely in your training camp and got a chance to you basically learn from each other. You basically working with each other and you learn from each other, and they're gonna be pushing each other. They're gonna be pushing each other. You know what I'm saying? So that's a good thing for the Anthony Joshua. Let me cut. I don't want to let my battery die, so I'm gonna cut that light off. That's going to be a great thing for Anthony Joshua. You know, working along with Spence, and then didn't have just having Derrick James as a trainer alone. Thunder Production says, I never wrote off AJ. He can still beat Fury or Wilder. Absolutely, Thunder Productions, and the truth is, bro. All those fighters you just named, they can beat each other. That's the thing about it. I think that Joshua's a little bit more technically sound than Wilder, but Joshua most definitely can beat Wilder, just like Wilder can beat Joshua, just like Joshua can beat Fury. Fury can beat Joshua. I think they can beat each other. It's just whoever the better man on that day or that night. You know what I'm saying? I think all those top three right there, those top three heavyweights, to be honest with you, I just keep it straight. I keep it real. I don't pull no punches. You know what I'm saying? I got love and respect for all those fighters. But I'm gonna tell you like this here. Joshua is the better technically sound fighter. So yes, he can break down and probably slightly outbox Wilder. I think Wilder's gotten a little better technically, as far as a little bit more fundamentally, slightly more fundamentally sound. So yes, I think, and then that, being his timing got better. He always been fast to land the right hand or whatever like that there to set up, and he's got better at setting up the right hand. And he's starting to work the jab a little better as what I've been doing film studying. As far as Wilder, and Fury Fury good at everything. Fury just great at everything. Fury from day one has been a very skilled elite level fighter, working with Emmanuel Stewart, working with a lot of great trainers. You know what I'm saying? Even at a young age, as a young fighter, working with the likes of Emmanuel Stewart, working with great trainers, Fury perfected his craft very, very young. Fury perfected his craft very, very young. And so the same thing with Joshua. You know what I'm saying? As a teenager, he perfected his craft. But Fury started much earlier. He started very, very young. That's what made him so. And he's always been athletic and very skilled even as a young fighter. Even with the days of working with Emmanuel Stewart. Even the days working him, and then goes back to the Crunk Gym to work with Sugar Hill Stewart, the nephew of Emmanuel Stewart. That even perfect his craft even further. Even him being fundamentally sound, being able to do everything, fight on the inside, outside. Great head movement, upper body movement, footwork. Just good at doing everything. Setting up the combinations, setting up the 1-2, setting up the counters, setting up the right cross, setting up the jabs. The hook, knowing how to go to the body, know how to, set up the combinations, going to the head, body, head. Fury can do it all. And I think Joshua's the same type of fighter. You know what I'm saying? He's the same type of fighter. So both of those fighters can be a little bit more technically sound than Wilder. But Wilder's gotten better a little bit as a fighter, but he's always been a dangerous puncher. And he's gotten better at setting up the right hand. He's gotten better at setting up his power shots. So I think all those fighters are tough for each other. I think that Joshua is a tough fight for Wilder. Joshua a tough fight for Fury. Fury is a tough fight for Wilder and for Joshua. And Wilder's a tough fight for Joshua and Fury. Fury's a tough fight for Joshua. Fury's a tough fight for Wilder, just like Wilder's a tough fight for Joshua and Fury, and Joshua is a tough fight. Joshua is a tough fight for Wilder and Fury. All those guys, they can beat each other. You know what I'm saying? And Joshua could be the guy that can probably beat them both. You know what I'm saying? Or it could be the other way around with Wilder, or it could be the other way around with Fury. Well, Fury already beat Wilder, but they was tough fights. You know what I'm saying? As far as the first fight and of course the third fight, the trilogy. You know what I'm saying? So. Thunder Production says, I never wrote off AJ. He still can beat Fury or Wilder. Yeah, man, those top guys can beat each other. It's whoever the better man and the better guy and the better prepared. But I think they all going to be prepared if they face each other. I think it's just be challenging fights. I think it's going to be really, really challenging fights. for each other. You know what I'm saying? I think the top guys are tough fights for each other. You know what I mean? And Wilder, and like you say, Thunder Productions, Joshua can come off. He can come off. Yeah, it's 50-50. All those guys fighting each other. It's 50-50 fights. I agree with you 100%, bro. I'm not going to listen. I got a lot of love and respect for all those fighters. All those fighters. And like you say, bro, 50-50 is most definitely 50-50. For all those top fighters fighting each other, the Wilder, the Tyson Fury, the Joshua, the Wilder, all those guys fighting each other are 50-50 fights in my eyes. Joshua can come off top. He can beat those guys. He can beat both of those guys. Fury can beat both of those guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can beat each other. You know what I'm saying? You know, and so all those fights are tough. They're really tough. I think Derrick James is the type of my brother Art Samson is in the building. Much love and respect to my brother Art Samson. In the building. My brother Art Samson is in the building. Much love and respect, man. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, but I think working along with Derrick James is most definitely gives Joshua, because you can see that he has a very serious look on his face. Of course he's happy. Of course he's excited. I mean, Joshua loves boxing. He even said it in the press conference. Joshua loves boxing. He loves fighting. He loves the sport of boxing. Of course he loves getting paid. Of course he loves making big money. Of course he loves the money. But he put himself in position to make big money, and to make good money in these fights. He put himself in that position. Yeah, with the help and the guidance, of course, with the help of a great team, you know what I'm saying, but also the help of a good promotional company to lead him in the right direction, slightly in a way. But at the end of the day, he is the fighter. He's the one that won those fights. He's the one who put himself in position to earn big money. You know what I'm saying? So, but he really cares. He loves boxing. He loves fighting. Joshua loves boxing. He loves fighting. Boxing is what he loved to do. You know what I'm saying? He loves to prove himself against the best. You know, we know the killers he's been in the ring with. We know the killers he's been in the ring with. We know that he loves to prove himself against the best. And Jermaine Franklin is just one of those fighters that wants to also prove himself against the best. Some people felt he beat Dillian White. It was a close fight. I'm gonna be honest with you. It was one swing round. It was one swing round that could have went either way, but I probably slightly edged that round to Dillian White, and then Dillian White won one round over. So it's 2 rounds that I had I had 2 rounds for Dillian White over Jermaine Franklin. So I had it. Yeah, I had it a unanimous decision for Dillian White. The fight in a way was close. So for people that had it a split decision for Dillian White, I'm not mad at that. For people that had it a split decision for Jermaine Franklin, I'm not mad at that. For people that had it a unanimous decision for Jermaine Franklin, I really can't be mad at that, but I don't know if I can agree with that. But Jermaine Franklin did very well, did very good, you know, against Dillian White. And much respect to people that felt that he beat Dillian White. It was a good fight. You know, both, you know, it was a good entertaining fight. You know, both fighters are good fighters. And it was a very challenging and competitive fight for both men. You know, just like I believe Jermaine Franklin is going to be just like I believe Jermaine Franklin is going to be a tough and competitive fight for Joshua. But to be honest with you, I would not be surprised if Joshua was to hit him with a few good hard right hands set working off the jab, some vicious body shots, mixing up the attack on the inside, being smart with mixing up the attack, throwing some hard, powerful combinations on the inside to bother Jermaine, to bother Franklin, and probably load up on a big right hand on the chin or the temple, hurt him, and finish the fight with accumulation of power shots and finish the fight with a technical knockout. I would not be surprised. And I wouldn't be surprised if the fight went all 12. Joshua winning a unanimous decision. But would I be surprised of an upset? An upset can very well happen. I don't believe it's going to happen. So don't take my words and twist. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if an upset happened. I wouldn't be surprised at all if an upset happened. But I don't see no upset. I don't. I see it being a very competitive fight. And I see it being, in the early rounds, I see it being more like a chess match that becomes, in a way, a technically sound war. A technically sound war. Because Joshua is not going to be trying to make mistakes. He's going to be looking to force Jermaine Franklin to make mistakes. He's going to be looking to force Jermaine Franklin to make mistakes. He's going to be looking for every opening. He's going to be looking for every opening. And he's going to be looking to set up those powerful right hands. He's going to be looking for the uppercut. He's going to take advantage of every mistake that Jermaine Franklin makes. Just like Jermaine Franklin is going to be looking for openings, because he's a counter puncher, boxer puncher. He going